we looked at 100 kilos escape Thursday. Just going through the basic positions. Another one is broken scar fold, or super chill position where I have the underhook. I have control of Carl's elbow. And again, from here, the main thing I'm thinking about is the only part of my body on the mat is my feet. So my elbow's not on the mat and my butt's not on the mat. If it's on the mat's carrying my weight and your opponent is carrying it. So we're here. This is again a good strong pin. If I can get my lat over Carl's diaphragm and sort of move into an uncomfortable, or get him uncomfortable, alright. So we can hang out here all day. Now we did talk about this in the early weeks of this. What does Carl want to do to get comfortable? Anybody here? Maybe 12 weeks ago? He wants to get on his what? 10? Side! That was it! He wants to get on his side. Carl wants to turn into me and he wants to pull this elbow to the mat. Now from that position, even if I have the underhook here, he's a lot more comfortable. He'll also want to put me on his hip here. Now I'm connected to him. So it becomes a battle of elbow control. I want to pluck this elbow. Carl wants to pull it to the mat. I want to pluck this elbow because Carl can't get on the side unless he gets his elbow. Does that make sense? If I physically pull this elbow up and I'm here, you can elbow the mat, bro. Carrying my weight and he can't. But, you know, he eventually will get his elbow to the mat. So we talked about when we were playing Top Game how I could collapse this frame. Anytime he pulls it to the mat, yes, I can try to pluck it, but I can use my hip that's on top to push Carl's right wrist towards his shoulder, and I'm just gonna smush it like this. Carl gets uncomfortable, and he gets this reaction whereby he wants to straighten his arm, and then I pluck it again. Okay? So we're thinking about basically we're here, we're pushing our hip and driving his hand into the shoulder. Now, it doesn't affect people the same. Carl's quite flexible. You can probably take that. I'll show you another variation I can do. If this is me, I'd be like, screaming. Okay? So watch. He's got his elbow tucked. My hip pushes it towards his shoulder, and I'm just going to try and push his fist into the shoulder and crush it. Waiting on that reaction of him pushing it through, and then I find it again. Does that make sense? So our first escape, if they try that, Carl's doing it on me. We're in super chill, broken scar hold position. Here, he plucks my elbow. Okay? I managed to. How do I get my elbow to the mat or to his hip? I can do a slight bump. Just creating space, just lifting my hip. Now from there, my hand's in front of his hip. He's going to start turning around. So I'll want to push my arm out, and he pops it again and sits down. Just turn this way, bro. So I bump, I get my elbow in, he starts to turn his hip, and I get this reaction whereby I'm here. Does that make sense? So from our position, anytime this happens, okay, and Carl, I get my elbow to the inside. Sometimes when Carl goes to crush that, back a step. Do it now, bro. What am I doing differently now?
Tap the head.
No? Do it now? What's the difference? If there's a 90-degree bend or less in my arm here, right? Watch. If I'm here and my arm is 90 degrees or less, you can smash that every single time. But if I have my elbow in and Carl goes to do it, and I keep my arm, the angle in my support arm, if it's 90 or more, you can't do it. Does that make sense? The elbow elbows tucked. I'm making sure my hand's on the hip and I'm pushing to get a bigger angle on my arm. Over here, look, watch. It's that I want. Not, okay, look for not this. No good. That's the angle I want. So obviously what's going to happen is when we're here, he'll try to push that down. It's not going to happen. And now he'll lift his hip to try and push it down. Yes. The minute he does, he's giving me where I go to half guard or whether I go to close guard. That makes sense? Do that again. So super chill position, broken scar position. First one is, just pluck my elbow. Good. I'm going to do a few bumps and get my elbow to the mat. I don't want him collapsing this frame, so my hand goes in his hip and I make a bigger angle than 90 degrees. When he goes to collapse that, it's not going to happen, but he will lift his hip higher. Look at the space underneath. My knee just comes underneath and I can snag his leg, either in half guard or I'll keep pushing and I put him inside. Does that make sense? So that's drill 1. Drill 2, we've already did it. I get on my side. Carl has me a scarf hold. He plucks. Okay. So from here, I'll do a few bumps and get my elbow inside. My hand's on the hip, bigger than 90 degrees. Okay. But maybe he doesn't lift his hip. If that makes sense. I can only go for that bottom leg. I can't go for it now. Why? There's no space. So I can't bring my knee under. I can only go for it if Carl lifts his hip to try and smear that. Now there's space. So if he doesn't lift his hip, all I do is I bring my right knee towards his butt and I bump my hips and I use that elbow to put him on the corner of my hip. Now he's connected to me. I'm on my right side. I just turn onto my hips. That makes sense? So the drill is here, Carl does a few bumps and gets his elbow to the mat. Right? If his arm is 90 degrees or less, I can drive this in. He'll push his arm out and then I pluck it. Okay? But if he does this right, there's no space. Okay? Or I can bring my hip to the shoulder. Now he can't bring his leg underneath, but I might try to bring his wrist to the shoulder by lifting my hip. Now there's space. He can now come underneath with his right knee, snag me a half guard, or that makes sense? But sometimes when we're here and I flip this and Carl gets his elbow to the mat and there's a bigger bend in 90 degrees, from that position he loads me on to the bottom, the corner of his hip, okay, and then just escapes. Just do it with this angle. You can see what I'm doing with my knee. The elbow back when he hasn't lifted his hip. I bring my knee. Watch, my legs are bent. Okay? How do I get him on my hip? I drop my knee to the mat behind his right hip, and then I do this like bump. Now, my elbow has loaded Carl onto the corner of my hip. He's connected to me. So in other words, where I go, that makes sense? So 2 variations here, guys, just throw that, yeah.